Yes, this is Unit 10, Lesson 2. This is talking about the areas of regular quadrilaterals or squares. Okay, we're going to begin with some definitions and things. And so here's what we got. The center, radius, and apothem for a square are shown here. If you remember, we talked about this in the previous lesson. They're not going to repeat the definitions each time, but they are going to use the definitions to actually achieve what we're looking for so that we can see the items in each one of these. Okay, so if you notice here, what we've got is we've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle. That means that the apothem is the distance from the center to the midpoint of the side. X is the distance from the edge to the midpoint, and 2x is the length of the whole side. Okay, so we're going to look at this, and the radius is this thing running right here. So let's take a look and see. If you remember, we said that for any regular polygon, the area of a regular polygon is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. Okay, example 1. Find the area of this square using the apothem formula and then show that it yields the same answers as the simpler method of just squaring a side. Know that it's much simpler to square the side to get the area of a square, but what we're doing here is we're developing the habits that we need in order to deal with things that have more than 4 sides. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to do it this way to prove that it works. Okay, so here's what we have. We have a square. Notice that our apothem is given to us, it's 8, and that we're also given the length of a side, which is 16. So if we remember, our formula said that the area is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. So we can represent the perimeter here with 4 times 16, so the area is equal to 1/2 of 4 times 16 times 8. So when we multiply that, we get 1/2 of 64 times 8, which is equal to 256. Okay, so they said they wanted us to show it what we got if we squared the side. So we take 16 times 16, which is 16 squared, which is 256. So we get the same thing either way. As we said, we're doing this the little bit more difficult way in order to prove a point that we can get it either direction, because we are going to need this when we move into things that are more than 4 sides. Okay, example 2, they want us to find the area of this square using the apothem formula. So here's what we have. They gave us the length of a side is 24, which means that the apothem has to be 12. So what we're going to do is, once again, the area is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. So the area is equal to 1/2 of 4 times 24 times 12, which is 1/2 of 96 times 12, which is 576. Okay, example 3, they want to find the area of this square using the apothem formula. This time they gave us the apothem as the square root of 3. Since that's half of the length of a side, the side is 2 times the square root of 3. So let's use our formula. Area is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. So that gives us 1/2 of 4 times 2 square root of 3 times the square root of 3 for the apothem. So this gives us the area is equal to 1/2 of 8 square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which, if you put that in the calculator, gives you 12. Okay, once again, let me remind you that whenever you're doing this in the calculators, you need to make sure you close the parentheses at the end of each one of these square roots to get the correct answer. Okay, example 4, they want us to find the area of this square using the apothem formula. Okay, so this time they gave us a radius, which is the square root of 7, and it means we have to find the apothem and we have to find x, and that would lead us to 2x, which is equal to the length of a side. So the sine of 45 is equal to the length of the apothem divided by the square root of 7. Okay, so we cross multiply, gives us the square root of 7 times the sine of 45 is equal to the apothem length. So 1.87 is approximately equal to the length of the apothem. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we get with this. Cosine of 45 is equal to x over the square root of 7. So the square root of 7 times the cosine of 45 is equal to x. So 1.87 is equal to x. So to find the length of a side, we multiply that by 2. So 2 times 1.87 gives us approximately 3.74. So the area is going to equal 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. So that gives us 4 times 3.74 times 1.87 times 1/2, which leads us to this and gives us an approximate answer of 13.99. Okay, example 5, using the apothem formula, they want us to find the area of this square whose diagonal is 79 miles long. Notice this time they're giving us dimensions. So this whole thing is 79 miles long. That means that each radius here, or each half of the diagonal, is 39.5 miles. Okay, so once again we have the 45, 45, 90 triangle. We need to find the apothem and the length of x. So the sine of 45 is equal to the apothem over 39.5. So 39.5 times the sine of 45 is equal to the length of the apothem. So 27.93 is approximately equal to the apothem length. Okay, so to find x, x in this case is equal to the apothem because this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So x is approximately 27.93 as well. So the length of a side is equal to 2 times x. So the length of the side is going to be approximately equal to 55.86. So now we're ready to find the area with the 1/2 perimeter times the apothem. So area is equal to 1/2 of 4 times 55.86 times 27.93. So this gives us 1/2 of 223.44 times 27.93, which gives us approximately 3,120.34 square miles. Okay. Example 6. Using the apothem formula, they want us to find the area of a regular quadrilateral whose perimeter is 11. That's a fancy way of saying you got a square with the 4 sides add up to 11. So to find the length of one side, we simply divide the perimeter by 4. So the side length here is 11 over 4. Okay, the apothem length is going to be half of the side. So we take 11 over 4, divide by 2, which gives us 11 over 4 times 1/2, which equals 11 over 8. Okay, so now we're ready to find our area. So area is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. Gives us 1/2 of 11 times 11 over 8. Multiply that out, we get approximately 7.56 for the area. Okay, that pretty well does this one. Remember, if you have any questions, write them down now while you're thinking about them. Bring them to class tomorrow, and we will discuss them before we do the work. Thank you very much. Goodbye.